We kick things off in the glittering skyline of Dubai, where two elite operatives are executing a high-stakes break-in. Monitoring their every move from the shadows is Nigel, their tactical handler. But the mission hits a massive speed bump when Nigel spots his worst nightmare on the security cameras. A ruthless rogue commander named Liam, rolling into the parking garage with a heavily armed strike team. Nigel frantically orders his agents to abort, but they ignore the warning, easily cracking a high-security lock to access a classified server room. As the data download begins, Liam's soldiers breach the office. A chaotic firefight erupts. Outnumbered and outgunned, the first agent is riddled with bullets, but fights to his last breath. Unfortunately, the backup arrives too late. The second agent is taken down just before the transfer hits 100%. To rub salt in the wound, Liam looks directly into the security camera, mocks Nigel with a sarcastic apology, and pulls the plug. Cut to the bustling streets of New York City. Meet Jack, a brilliant former CIA analyst who traded international espionage for a quiet, predictable retirement. Or so he thought. During a routine morning jog, Jack spots a sleek sedan shadowing his every move. Sensing danger, he turns on the jets and darts into a park. But the vehicle cuts him off. He slips into a restaurant, dodging through the frantic kitchen to find the back exit, only to find the exact same car waiting for him. Desperate, he ducks into a bookstore, slipping out the opposite side. But two more vehicles box him in. He's officially trapped. Jack is ushered into the back seat, where he is greeted by his old boss, James, who has climbed the ranks to become the deputy director of the CIA. Sitting on a park bench, James insists this isn't a kidnapping. It's a request for a favor. He needs Jack to fly to Dubai and recover the highly sensitive intel Nigel was trying to steal. Before Jack can even open his mouth to decline, they are joined by Mike, a rugged agent assigned to be Jack's muscle. James walks away, leaving Jack with absolutely no choice but to pack his bags. Upon landing in Dubai, Mike drops a truth bomb. He has no idea what this secret data actually is. He only took the assignment because he's completely flat broke. A financial ruin he blames entirely on Jack after a past operation went completely sideways. Jack slips in a covert earpiece and boards a high-end party boat to locate his contact. Suddenly, a cold blade is pressed against Jack's spine. It's Nigel. He's paranoid, believing he's walked into an ambush because he was expecting James, not a retired analyst. As Jack tries to defuse the situation, Mike spots a mysterious woman named Emma lurking on the docks. He tries to warn Jack, but a localized signal jammer cuts the feed. Jack's earpiece emits a sharp, deafening screech. Believing Jack is a mole, Nigel flees to the upper deck. Jack corners him, pleading that he's there to help. Nigel just laughs, cryptically revealing that James is the one who actually needs saving. Watching from a nearby bridge, Emma spots the commotion and takes a daring leap, landing perfectly onto the moving yacht. Nigel hands Jack a seemingly ordinary pack of cigarettes, whispering that James is terrified. In a flash, a stealthy mercenary appears from the shadows, slashes Nigel's throat, and vanishes into thin air. Before Nigel's body even hits the floor, Emma appears, pointing a firearm straight at Jack. With no time to argue, Jack leaps over the railing. He lands squarely onto the mercenary's escape speedboat. A brutal, close-quarters brawl breaks out on the water. The assassin guns the engine to throw Jack off balance, but Jack recovers, trading heavy blows. Meanwhile, Mike hotwires a nearby boat to give chase. Up ahead, Jack notices they are on a collision course with a massive vessel. The mercenary grabs Jack by the throat, attempting to choke him out, but with his remaining strength, Jack wrenches the steering wheel. They avoid the catastrophic collision by milliseconds, instead crashing violently into a concrete pier. Both men are thrown onto the pavement. Jack quickly tackles the assassin, wrapping his own necktie around the guy's throat to force information out of him. But before the killer can talk, a high-caliber sniper round pierces his skull. Liam is watching from a nearby rooftop. Mike and Emma converge on the scene simultaneously. With the police sirens wailing in the distance, Emma holds them at gunpoint and forces Mike to drive their boat far away from the authorities. The next morning, James arrives at his office to find an anonymous package containing a highly classified file labeled Starling. Immediately after, his private, unlisted phone rings. It's Liam. He demands whatever item Nigel handed off to Jack, threatening to execute Jack if James doesn't comply. Meanwhile, at a hidden safe house, Emma begins profiling Jack and Mike, showing off just how much dirt she has on them, including the fact that Jack is currently the prime suspect in a double homicide. She pulls out a photograph of James, noting that he was previously demoted for executing an asset in self-defense. Jack defends his old boss, but Emma drops a dark truth. James claimed the asset died quickly in a firefight, but the photo shows the asset had no bullet wounds. He was tortured to death. She explains that following the events of 9/11, James and Nigel formed an unregulated, off-the-books task force called Starling. Operating completely outside international law, they eliminated thousands of targets. When global blowback grew too severe, James took the heat, shutting down the program while erasing the identities of Starling's deadliest operatives, including Liam. Emma reveals she is actually a deep-cover operative for the British Secret Service, and she is drafting Jack into her unit. After Jack rings James with a status update, Emma escorts the team to England, where they are met by her superior, Andrew. Andrew severely reprimands Emma for running an unauthorized operation in Dubai, noting that she has triggered a massive diplomatic incident. Emma counters, revealing that Nigel was one of their own, and she needed answers. Soon after, James arrives at the British intelligence headquarters. Jack is absolutely furious, confronting his former mentor about the web of lies. James hands over the Starling dossier, which contains photos of the two agents slaughtered in the Dubai server room. Jack freezes. He recognizes one of them as a former CIA colleague. James explains the other was MI6. 2 years prior, these two operatives were manipulated by Liam into reviving Project Starling. When they realized the sheer horror of what they were building, they defected to Nigel for protection. Nigel warned James, but Liam discovered the leak. James admitted he deliberately sent Jack into that Dubai meeting as a pawn, sparking a fierce shouting match. James fiercely defends his actions, calling the brute. If you enjoyed this movie, make sure to drop a like, and don't forget to subscribe.